Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello, and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. This next episode is all about protein in your needs. Some of you may have heard that protein is amazing. For whatever reason, I find like protein hasn't had a bad reputation. Like fat was demonized in the 90s. Carbs were just like forever. Everyone thinks carbs are the devil. But protein seems to like have a really good reputation, except there's also misconceptions about you don't need a lot if you're vegan or vegetarian. To be honest, it's very conflicting, and it always has to do with what your goal is. If you're trying to lose weight, protein is very important because if you're taking in less calories than your body needs, aka you're in a caloric deficit, then you're going to want to make sure that you're preserving your muscle mass. So getting adequate protein is going to help to do that. Protein in general helps your body grow and repair itself. It's really great for your muscles, your blood, your skin, your hair, your nails, your internal organs. It can also help fight disease and infection by increasing your immune system. It's why someone in a hospital setting automatically, unless they have some sort of like kidney issues or reasons why they shouldn't have a ton of protein, they're usually put on a higher protein diet, particularly in very stressful situations like in the intensive care unit, definitely in burn victims, because the skin is where if you're not getting enough protein, your skin might not look that great. There's some pretty obvious signs you're not getting enough protein, which is usually maybe your skin, your wounds don't heal as well, and your hair is super, super brittle, your nails are super, super brittle. So those are some clear signs. There's also a lot of mixed reviews about how much you need. So I wanted to kind of just give you a general idea. I do apologize. It is in kilograms. As a registered dietitian, I learn people's needs based off of their kilograms, even though in America we do everything in pounds. So basically you would take your body weight, and if you're driving, I encourage you to pause this or potentially write this down or re-listen to this section, take note of the minutes and come back to this so you can write this down. So in order to get your weight in kilograms, you need to take your total body weight in pounds and divide it by 2.2, and that'll give you your total your body weight in kilograms. Okay? Then, if you are a sedentary individual or you're lightly active, so you don't do much movement, then your protein needs are going to be a little bit lower. The RDA is the recommended daily allowance, and that is usually telling you what your standard protein needs are. So this is not for someone who has like a specific weight loss goal. This is just like your general everyday person. You would take 0.8 of your weight in kilograms and you multiply it by that, or anywhere to 1.2 grams per kilogram and you multiply it by that. I do believe that I think we do need a little bit more protein. So I would probably go closer to that 1.2 grams per kilogram, unless you find it really difficult to stick to. I think that in general, you'll preserve your muscle mass, whether you're active or not, just in general for like later down the line, things like osteoporosis and brittle bone disease and stuff like that. So that is for pretty much sedentary individuals or lightly active. Then you have for the endurance training. If you do endurance training most days, so that's lots of running and swimming, maybe like even boxing. Boxing is more like cross training, but it's really more endurance. And that's going to be, your protein needs are going to be 1.2 to 1.4 grams per kilogram. If you are doing some sort of strength training workout most of the days, then your protein needs are going to be 1.4 to 1.7 grams per kilogram. And if you are actively trying to achieve fat loss or weight loss, then your goal is going to be higher, anywhere from 1.2 to 2.0 grams per kilogram. Some people go all the way up to 2.5. So depending on what you follow, this may have been some surprising information for you, maybe a lot higher than your needs. Maybe it's lower than, I know some trainers out there don't always do the greatest job. They don't really know much about nutrition, and they give these clients these like high protein meals that are like high protein suggestions that are just absolutely ridiculous. Now here's the thing. If you're someone who is obese or overweight, then to use the gram per kilogram method is going to put you at a very high amount, and likely in where your calories are taking in more than you need to lose. So it'll probably put you at either maintenance or even in a place to gain weight. And if you're overweight or obese, we would like you to decrease your weight. So, and for health reasons, unless you're healthy, then it's fine. Weight can be a little tricky. But in general, to use the gram per kilogram method for someone who is trying to consume less calories, it's not going to add up. So if you are following, say, a 2,000 calorie meal plan, then we want to use the percent of total calories as a way to get your protein needs. So there's argument that enough protein can be anywhere from 10% of your total calorie needs upwards to 35% of your total calorie needs. Now, I, once again, don't think 10% is enough, and 35% is relatively high. I would say anything more than that is you're going to be probably sacrificing your ability to get in enough fiber, carbohydrates, healthy fats, because remember, anytime you have too much of one thing, you probably don't have enough of something else. So that's something to consider for sure, which then would impact your energy and your overall health and your micronutrients. So those things that keep your immune function functioning, which then takes the purpose of protein. You know, it's not going to be as beneficial if you don't have the other nutrients supporting you. So in that situation, I usually tell people the general goal for fat loss is to take your total calories, and when you have about 30% of your total calories coming from protein, chances are you're going to be getting enough protein to sustain that muscle, so that way when you lose weight, it comes from body fat and not from muscle. And then the other carbs and protein is when I kind of vary it a bit, but a pretty standard formula for fat loss is 30% from your total calories coming from protein, 30% coming from fat, and 40% coming from carbs. You're probably like, but wait, carbs are supposed to be low. But no, that is low, believe it or not. So if it's still going to be around, like, a good example, I think, so if you do like 1,800 calories for the day, 30% of your total needs coming from protein, that's going to put your grams each day up to about like 120 grams, I believe. This is literally me just going off memory and doing this for so many people. And then your total carb needs for an 1,800 calorie plan are going to be closer to like 200. So one thing I don't think people realize with dietitians is we have a big science background, obviously, but we also have to know a lot of math. So if this sounds confusing to you, if you want me to help you calculate your own personal needs, feel free to email me, tipswithtony@gmail.com. I'm more than happy to do that. I would just need some basic information from you. If you're okay to share that with me, I would need things like your height, your weight, your activity level, your gender, and your goal. And then from there, I can give you a more specific recommendation of your protein needs. Now, the next question, which matters most, is what foods have protein? And I'm going to go over what does, but first I wanted to talk about what doesn't. Because I hear all of the time, like, oh, I had a peanut butter sandwich, so it was high in protein, or I had bacon with my on my salad or in my sandwich, so it has protein. And it's like, Yes, there's protein in peanut butter. There's protein in nuts. There's protein in beans. However, there's also healthy fats and carbohydrates. So not all foods are just straight protein, straight carbs, straight fat, although there are food sources that fit into that category. There are some foods that have higher amounts of protein than others, or higher amounts of fat than others, higher amounts of carbs and all that. So good sources of protein are always going to be from animals first, just because of the fact that they usually don't carry carbs as well. And like I said, it's okay to have carbs. You guys know that. But the reason why carbs are so demonized is because most people are consuming too many of them. So if we really go to using animal sources as our protein, then it'll be a lot easier for us to stay within our carbs. It'll allow room for that rice. It'll allow room for that pasta and stuff like that. If you do plant-based sources of protein, things like beans, lentils, quinoa, those so much are more starches that have protein. We have to remember that a half a cup of beans is going to have more carbs than it has protein. So if you're having that and you're also having things like rice and corn, and let's see, maybe like a piece of fruit with that or something like that, then your meal is going to be mostly carbohydrate rich and not protein rich. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just want to make sure that you're clear of what actually counts as protein and what doesn't. So beef, pork, poultry, seafood, eggs, dairy products also have protein, like yogurt and cheese and milk. However, some have more carbs than others. So cheese, an ounce of cheese, is going to be lower in carbohydrates than 6 ounces of yogurt. But there are still some great, like Greek yogurts that are low fat or non-fat that are going to be really, really high in protein. And although there's carbs in there, it's pretty much a lot less than some of those other alternatives that I just spoke about. Hello, I'm interrupting this podcast with a special offer for you. So excited because there is a new platform out there for you, for anybody that is looking to lose weight and wants to work out but doesn't know what workouts to follow. Maybe you're afraid of going to the gym, you have a little gym intimidation, you don't know what to do with the weight racks, and you don't know what to do with the equipment. Well, don't worry, I have a solution for you. I have partnered up with WLWorkouts.com. So you go to WLWorkouts.com, discount code Tony10 to get 10% off a 4-week or 12-week workout plan. And it comes with a whole guide as well as YouTube videos to show you how to use the equipment. It's mostly strength training. So if you're new to weights, particularly for the ladies, I would strongly encourage it. It's a great jumpstart for the year. Pretty positive they're on sale now for about $20 or less for the 4-week, and the 12-week, I believe, is like $24. I know that that's not the usual price, but there's a special for January. So I will just say that the special, it does expire. This using the discount code. This is only a promo for January. So I just pulled up the site right now, actually. I should have probably did that before. So usually the price of the 4-week or 12-week workout plan is around $65, but it's a special right now for the month of January. It's only $19.61, so it's about $20 in US, and you get 10% off when you use discount code Tony10. So it's definitely worth it, especially if you're new to working out. But even if you're not, I totally am going to take this to the gym with me to supplement the other workouts that I do. But if you want, obviously, you're going to get the most out of it by following it from the beginning till the end, and also obviously making sure you're paying attention to your nutrition. So if you need help with that, let me know. All right, guys. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. Protein powders are a good way to get your protein in. Especially if you are someone who's plant-based or vegan, then you probably want to do like a pea protein isolate, because even protein powders can also carry carbohydrates. And not to say that it's good or bad, it's just so you're aware that that's how the carbs can kind of add up. So in general, an ounce of protein is 7 grams about. So an ounce of chicken is going to be 7 grams of protein. An ounce of eggs is usually like 5 or 6. But in general, 1 ounce of protein, 1 ounce equals 7 grams of protein. So what do you need? How much do you need? This is always obviously very individualized. We just talked about calculating your actual protein needs. It can be quite complicated when you do it like that, but in general, we want to try to have a minimum of 3 ounces, so 21 grams at each meal. I would say upwards to 30. And if you're an athlete, you could have even up to 40 or 50 grams of protein per meal. I know that sounds like a lot. Now, the great benefit of some of those kind of carbohydrate sources that have protein in them is they can help you get there. So if you have 3 to 4 ounces of, say, chicken with your meal, and then you also have a salad where you put some quinoa in there and some nuts in there, then you don't need, it doesn't have to all come from completely coming from animal sources, if that makes sense. So that is pretty much how you want to get your protein, how much you need. There's going to be better sources than others. Like I said, you're also going to have to think about, animal sources is the best way to get your protein, also because it has all the branched chain amino acids. Not that you're not going to get enough BCAA, so branched chain amino acids, which is probably for another episode, but not that you're not going to get that from plant-based sources. You are. However, certain ones are kind of harder to get, especially if you're training. So like leucine, for example. So you really want to make sure that it's the easiest way is definitely getting from animal protein. But however, if you are vegan or vegetarian, then making sure you're getting in like that, maybe like a protein powder and putting that in your oatmeal in the morning as a way to kind of get your needs up there. Definitely having things like tofu or tempeh is a good source as well. And then when it comes to your animal sources, making sure that you are using those healthy cooking methods, baking, grilling, broiling, because by doing that, you then leave room to add those healthy fats, avocado, olive oil, those nuts and seeds, stuff like that. So that is kind of the basic rundown of protein. I can go into greater detail of this, and I've actually have in my Healthy Livings Foundation course, which is now officially open for enrollment. I'm so excited. About a month ago, I put out a pre-launch, and I now have it's fully up and running. I got all of the feedback. Everybody that went through the course absolutely loved it. Little mini tweaks were added here and there. I added some documents in there. But this whole episode that I just gave you is a part of the protein of information about protein that's part of the macronutrient module in the Healthy Livings Foundation course. So when I tell you I could geek out about this forever, I can go in greater detail about it. It's really something that I absolutely love. This is just the tip of the iceberg to what you can learn and to really understand it and really grasp it, because here I did a good job. I hope I did a good job explaining it, but sometimes we need to hear things a number of times. Sometimes we need to be in a supportive environment to keep us reminded of why this is important. And sometimes we need the visuals. So this is great. You're listening. In the course, you have visual aids of good sources versus less healthy sources, healthy swaps that I provide. And like I said, that's just one part of one module of the 8 modules of the course. So the Healthy Livings Foundation course is really for the person who wants to build a solid foundation. If you keep striving for a goal and you're not hitting it, it's because you don't have that solid foundation. It's trying to build a house with no foundation. The house is going to fall. So it's not your fault if you feel like you keep failing and you can't stick to anything. There's a lot to consider. Your mindset, your ability to understand food and its purpose and how it fuels your body, everything from thinking, not being able to navigate social situations. I mean, literally, this course has absolutely everything for you. So what I want to just read you a couple of client testimonials that you can find on my website, www.tipswithtony.com/courses. And I really, really encourage you to apply. You don't even have to apply. So this is not the same thing as my one-on-one coaching. This is for someone who maybe can't afford to work with me one-on-one, maybe just quote unquote isn't ready to work with me one-on-one. But really you just want information, and you really just want to know, what is a carbohydrate? How many carbs do I need? You're probably tired of looking for answers everywhere. This is a really great way to get an in-depth learning experience where you don't have to go to Google. It's all here. If you don't know, I have a master's in nutrition. I've been a registered dietitian for 6 years, and I am obsessed with nutrition. So I did my best job to create an entire course that you would complete in 4 weeks. And in 4 weeks, you will have that solid foundation. I should have called it Fast Track Foundations. I don't know why I didn't. I might change the name. So if I do change the name, don't be confused. But anyways, you can go to www.tipswithtony.com/courses to enroll in the program today. So I just wanted to quickly hear, if you want to hear from some of my satisfied clients, Yazin says, Tony makes herself available to answer any questions in the group chat. Also love that we have lifetime access that I can go back to and reference any of the modules, both listening and PDF documents. Yes, that is true. Once you enroll in the first month, you get lifetime access. Jennifer says, I really enjoyed the macronutrient module. Since taking the course, I've changed my mindset and consistently eat well-balanced meals. That was Jenny. Jennifer says, there is so much misinformation out there. This course is a great learning tool so that anyone struggling with nutrition can be empowered with the knowledge to begin making healthy changes to their lives. I learned concrete strategies for handling different situations like social gatherings, meal prepping, emotional eating. What was really great was not only identifying areas where we all struggle, but also coming away with attainable and straightforward action items to handle those situations. I also loved how the module asked us to identify and share in the support group how we were going to handle different situations going forward. I think putting pen to paper and writing something concrete down is a really powerful way to affect change. Yes, so there's also group support. You have access to using the app for a lifetime. The app also has tracking tools where you can upload your weight, your height, your goals, your activity levels. You can message the group. You can track your food. Honestly, this course is something I put all of my effort, energy, heart, and soul into. And I truly, truly believe that anybody that goes through this course is going to really be set up for success. There are more testimonials, and I don't want to read all of them. If you want to go to www.tipswithtony.com/courses, you can see the people who did the pre-launch and see what they had to say. Like I said, I really believe that this is an awesome opportunity for you. It is everything you need. Everything you need is in there. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. As always, I'm Tony Marinici, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.